What's going on, guys? It's been a journey. How's it going, everybody? So today we are doing something very different. Today we are celebrating 1,000 subscribers. Today we are going to be doing a Q&A video where you guys went in my Discord and asked me some questions. Well, today we are going to be answering those questions. So again, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Honestly, this means so much to me. You guys don't even understand. But anyway, let's get into the questions. So we are going to start off with question number 1, which comes from Waterleaf, and he asks, what got you into game development? So I mean, that's a pretty tight question. I think that there's a lot of things to that question, but I guess the main thing would be when I was a kid, I used to make games, or at least make game ideas with my brother. And yeah, we just used to, I don't know, sit around and make game ideas. And then it was always something that we thought, hey, like one day this would be super cool if we could do this as actual games and make these games a reality. So when I found Gamemaker, I don't know, I dabbled with it with my siblings about 10 years ago, but I only really started using it about 3 years ago. And yeah, then I just started recording YouTube videos, and here we are today. So the next question comes from Bethel, and Bethel asks, can I have a cookie? Yes, sure. No, but seriously, how long did it take you before you learned pixel art? I think this is a pretty hard question to answer because I'm obviously still learning pixel art. It's not really something that I've mastered. So I guess to me, there's kind of two things. So the first thing is, when did you start pixel art? I started pixel art around the same time I started game development, so about 3 years ago. And I guess when I really started feeling confident about my art was probably about the time I started this YouTube channel and about the time I started Shield Shock, which was about 9 months ago, 10 months ago maybe. So yeah, I mean, I'm obviously still learning. I don't think I'm very good, but I'm glad that you think I'm good. Knav Game asks, how do you get motivation to work on projects? Where do you live? And what is your age? So the first question, how do you get motivation? I think that, I guess motivation is kind of something that, to me, I have a lot of motivation, and motivation does keep me going. But I think that what you need to understand is that if you only have motivation driving you forward, you are going to burn out eventually and you're going to give up. This is something that, you know, a lot of people suffer with, where they get super motivated. They're like, I'm going to be the next top chef, or I'm going to make the best game ever out there. And then they get all of this adrenaline and all of this motivation. And then, you know, 2 weeks in, they're like, okay, yeah, I can't do this. This is stupid. This is just a dream. And then they quit it. So I think motivation, I get my motivation by, you know, just contacting people in the community, whether they're bigger than me, smaller than me, just being a part of the community. It just keeps reminding me that what I'm doing is important to me. But again, I just want to say that I think discipline is also very important. So even when you don't have the motivation, there's so many times, even today, when I was recording this video, I was just so beyond stressed out with the things going on right now, and I just have no motivation, but I still put in about 4 or 5 hours of work today. So that was completely disciplined. So again, just have motivation. You're going to have a lot at the start, but it's going to fall off. So for the next question, he asks, how old am I? I am 19. I will be 20 this December. And yeah, so I don't know if that's late or early to getting into the whole game development journey, but yeah, that's how old I am. And where do you live? I live in Canada. I am from near Toronto. So yeah, I'm Canadian. JGM asks, why don't you use Unity/Unreal instead of Gamemaker Studios 2? Not that I have anything against Gamemaker, I'm just wondering because most game devs are using Unity/Unreal these days. Why did you choose Gamemaker as your main engine? So actually currently I am in the process of swapping over to Unity as my main game engine. I just find it very easy to make games in Gamemaker. So for things like game jams and stuff like that, I can make something very, very quickly because I know the program the best. But I am currently trying to switch over to Unity. I think the biggest thing for me is, I don't know, I make 2D games. I really like the pixel art style, and Gamemaker is just really easy. They have literally a built-in sprite editor to make pixel art, so you don't really have to deal with any kind of importing issues and stuff like that. But yeah, I am currently looking to move over to Unity. So Nick asks, what do you prefer, Gamemaker or Unity? So again, I kind of just answered this, but I think as of right now, right this second, May 5th, 2020, whatever day it is that I'm recording this, I think I have to go with Gamemaker, because I can just, I know the program better, but I think overall Unity is a better game engine, and it is something that I would recommend more to people starting or people that haven't picked anything up. But again, I've been kind of answering this question a lot, so I'm not going to go too in depth because you guys are probably already bored of that. Nova asks, what is the jam game you are most proud of / which one is your favorite? So this is pretty easy to this is pretty easy to answer because I've only joined one game jam, which was like a few weeks ago or something. I joined the Ludum Dare 46 game jam, and that was my first actual game jam, so I have to say Village Vanquish has to be my favorite one. But I actually did a live stream where I tried streaming the entire process of making a game and submitting it. I think it was to the GMTK game jam last year or something like that, but I ended up deleting the files like 10 minutes before submission by accident, and then by the time I tried to re-upload, I couldn't get the files in. So yeah, I mean, that's technically the only game jam I've actually entered, but I will give a special mention out to that game jam. I can't even remember what game I made, but that's what started the Midnight Club, which is my main Discord name. So yeah, it was a good time. It just didn't actually happen, so I can't really say that's my favorite game jam game. Nick asks one more time. He says, favorite indie game of all time. Okay, this is a question. I like this question. I think there's, I don't know, I have a few honorable mentions. I think I really enjoyed games like Rivals of Aether and Brawlhalla. They're kind of more of like the Smash Bros style games, and I really enjoy playing them. I actually used to be insanely good at Brawlhalla, and then I just kind of stopped playing video games, so I'm no longer in like the top, I think I was in the top 200, or no, maybe like the top 300 or something. I don't know, some crazy number. It was pretty ridiculous, and I felt really shitty about myself. But anyway, no, I think that my all-time favorite indie game of all time has to be Celeste, because I love platformer games, and that's a game that it's just, the controls are super tight. I love the art style so much, and I think that the most important thing for me at least was my experience with the game. I played the game with my brother, and we kind of just like took turns. Every time you die 5 times, it swaps over the other person, and it was just a really great experience. But also the kind of like the mood for the game and the theme behind the game is just so powerful. Like I think that the message is very powerful. I feel like I dealt with a lot of the things that the character in that game, Madeline, went through. So it's really cool to kind of play as that character, somebody that you can really relate to and kind of see some stuff in yourself. Okay guys, so the next question comes from Canav Games again. He's been submitting a lot of questions, but that's okay. I'm taking all the submissions, so I'm just going through it. How do I get started with game development, and how do I choose my game engine? Okay, so obviously this is something that does not have one answer. You can really use whatever game engine you want. The game engines that I would recommend would be either Gamemaker, Godot, or Unity. The reason I would recommend these is because, at least from my experience, I've actually made games using, well, Unity and Gamemaker. I haven't made a game in Godot, but it does seem very interesting, and I have looked at a lot of the documentation. I guess also Unreal is a good one, but the reason why I'm not really mentioning Unreal is because I feel like at this point, Unity is basically like Unreal's brother if it was simpler and easier to use, but could do pretty much the same stuff. So maybe Unreal has some better things in certain aspects, but I think for beginners, you should not pick up Unreal as your first engine unless you want to go through hell for a couple months. But yeah, so I think Gamemaker, if you want to make little 2D pixel art games, which is mainly what I'm doing, so I use Gamemaker a lot. Unity, if you want to make more of the 3D projects and just kind of have an engine that you can use for decades that will probably never go anywhere. And also he asks, how do I get started with game development? So I think the best thing to do for getting into game development is just to do it. Obviously, this is horrible advice, but make the smallest, easiest game you've ever thought of in your life and just look at a bunch of tutorials. If you're using Unity, it has probably the most amount of tutorials online, but I feel like most engines will have a lot of tutorials. So just follow through a basic like half an hour to an hour tutorial taking you from nothing to building a game. I'm actually going to be making a video like this on my channel soon. So if that's something you're interested, just subscribe and you'll see that soon. But again, there's a lot of other people out there. So I'm not going to just say, watch my content and only my content because I make the best. Like, no, by no means do I make the best content. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that's what they do for a living, for a job. So just follow their tutorials and pick up some stuff along the way. Okay, so the next set of questions is from a lot of the same people that have already asked questions. I gave people the opportunity to ask me 2 questions each. So you will see a few repeats, but I'm trying to break them up and split this into different segments. So again, we have another question from Waterleaf. What keeps you going and how do you improve? So what keeps me going? Again, we kind of talked about this earlier, but I guess there's kind of the 2 parts. So there's the motivation, which is obviously very important when you're starting something, you know, very daunting and something that you never really could have ever thought of doing in your life. But then again, there's also the discipline. So discipline also keeps me going because when I don't have the motivation, when I don't feel like working, I have a set schedule that I do and I just stick with it. And, you know, if I don't follow through with it, I don't beat myself up about it. I know that I'm, you know, at least if I get in 20 to 30 hours a week, then I know that I'm doing a good job. So I just try not to beat myself up and try to stick to my schedule, I guess. So the next question comes from Tim, and he asks, what actually convinced you that game development will be a sustainable future? What education does your brother have? He was in a previous video, so that's why he's asking. And do you have any channels on your Discord muted? So yeah, I mean, that's kind of 3 questions, but I'll answer them anyway. So the first question, honestly, I'm still a little bit skeptical. I guess technically this is kind of like my full-time job. I'm not making full-time pay. I'm making something, which is very nice, and I'm very fortunate to be in this position. But it is not something that I can just do full-time and support a family. So I'm still working towards that. But I guess what kind of convinced me to go down this path, I think, honestly, to me, it's just in life, you kind of just have to go for the things that you want to do. Like, I had, I guess, like a mini like existential crisis during my late teens, and I was just so beyond depressed and just didn't like my life and where I was headed. So I just really decided that this was something that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life, and this is what's going to make me happy. So I'm doing everything in my being to make that a reality. Oh, also, so what does my brother do, or I guess what is his education? So he's actually graduated now. He just graduated last fall, and he majored in physics. So that's why he is doing the stuff that he's doing for my game right now, which is like the math and physics stuff. And last question, do you have any channels on your Discord muted? No, I do not. I just sometimes mute Discord as a whole when I'm busy and I don't want to be distracted. But no, I love all of my communities, and everyone is just amazing. So I do not have anything muted or anybody specifically. So Blobbin asks, have you played Valorant and what do you think about the game? No, I have not played Valorant, but I know it's from Riot Games, I believe, which I do play their other game, League of Legends. I used to play it a lot. I don't really play games much anymore, which is kind of weird because I guess I'm a video game developer, but at the current moment, I don't have a lot of free time on my hands. And when I do have free time, I don't like looking at screens and playing video games. So I don't know, maybe I'll get around to it one day. But as of right now, I have not played it, so I can't really give my input. And we have a question from Ghost. So Ghost says, would you consider collaborating in the future, or do you prefer solo development? So actually, yes, I am currently a solo developer for Boundless Studios, which is my company that I have, my indie game studio. But I am working on 2 kind of hidden projects that are in the works, and that is why I'm very, very busy. So you guys aren't really seeing everything that I'm doing because I can't show everything that I'm doing because I'm kind of under an NDA. But maybe eventually I'll start up a devlog series on those games. But at the current moment, I can't talk about it. So yes, I will be doing stuff, collaborations and stuff, but technically my studio is a solo studio and I would like to keep it that way. So yeah, solo studio, but I am definitely interested in collaborating on small projects and stuff like that. So the next question comes from Maddie. So Maddie asks, will you be teaming up with Soma Games? I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna say probably not, but I mean, Ender Electric asks, how many subscribers do you currently have? Is it less than 2,600? Because if so,
I have more than you.
Since I'm doing this Q&A, I have over 1,000 subscribers, which obviously I am so beyond stoked about. And it's just the channel growth has been insane the past 2 months. We more than doubled. Actually, no, we more than tripled the amount that we've got over the last 10 months. So that's insane. And I'm so grateful for everybody. But he says, do you have less than 2,600? I'm just going to say, I do have less subscribers than you, Ender, but I'm going to catch up very soon, and I'm going to take you out. So Lominos is saying, how old were you when you started programming / making games? Yeah, again, I kind of already answered this, but the quick rundown, I started programming and actually making games seriously about 3 years ago. So when I was 17, technically 16. But I've been dabbling with kind of just like looking at other people make games for probably about 10 years. Just didn't really ever actually do anything. So yeah, it's been about 3 years. Antihedra asks, what has worked the best for you as far as growing your audience as a solo game developer? Well, I mean, I guess I have to give a mention to the Son of Fire devlog series because that was the main reason that my channel got to over 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I put that video out and then it just picked up a little bit of traction. It has about 3,000 views now. So that video gained me about 600 subscribers, I want to say. So I think the best advice I can give, so this is kind of just to anybody that is looking at starting their own YouTube channel or, some kind of marketing strategy or something for their solo game development career. I would say, first, you have to be consistent. I know obviously everyone hears this, but you need to be consistent. Not that you have to release a devlog every week or something, but you should make sure that people know that you're alive. And yeah, so just kind of like check in and release a video every couple weeks or something like that, or like do a monthly devlog series, something like that. But your quality needs to be a little bit above average. So kind of look at all of the smaller channels, all the people that have like, I don't know, between 100 to 10,000 subscribers. Look at all of those people and kind of like assess, like I don't know, look at a number that you think is that you're happy with. For me, that was 1,000. I wanted to make it to 1,000 and I did. And so I looked at the people that were around my same level and I thought, I think that my content is of this level. So I just have to be consistent, constantly keep improving. I think that my videos are still improving and I still want to put in as much effort as I was in the beginning. But just eventually it will come. Be consistent and just be yourself. Don't try to fake it and be somebody else, but you need to be enthusiastic. But anyway, Daniel asks, apart from game design, what other hobbies do you enjoy and feel positively impact your game design philosophy and vision? Daniel, this is a question, man. This is a question. Okay, so I guess I'll start with what are my other hobbies? So I do a lot of skateboarding and gymnastics during the summer times, but since I'm in Canada, half the year is winter pretty much, so I can't skateboard during the winter. So, I don't know. I play video games. When I have the time to go outside, I'll go outside. I do gymnastics. I do calisthenics, which if you don't know, it's basically like working out, but with your own body weight. And then the next part, he says, what positively impacts your game design philosophy and vision? It's kind of a hard question to answer, I guess, but I'll keep it simple and just say that I think that pretty much everything I do in my life does impact kind of like my vision and I guess my style in a sense. But just being an active person and being somebody that is like, that enjoys creative activities, like things like drawing, really everything kind of shapes my style. So yeah, there's not really a definite answer on that. And I don't think I answered this question to the best of my ability, but yeah, I mean, that's the best I got right now. Next question comes from Billy Saurus. Billy is asking, if somebody is interested in game development but has no prior experience in development or coding, where would you suggest they start? I've answered this, so I will keep it very brief, but I think that the best way to start is start with a game engine. I know a lot of people that use things like RPG Maker or just like those click and drag things. Even Gamemaker has a click and drag function to it. But I would highly recommend that everybody starts with something that they think that they will use for a long time to come, because if you put in the work at first, it will make your life easier later. So just learn, one of the basic, like the Unity or GameMaker or something, get a slight understanding of how coding works, understand how if statements work, how arrays work, how for loops work. And once you have that, you don't really need much else. So you can just start making games with those basic concepts. Waterleaf asks again, is game dev really overrated like most say? I mean, a lot of people do say that. A lot of people say that the market is very saturated and, obviously there's going to be tons and tons of games out there, but it's completely changed my entire world. So I'm going to say it is not overrated. I think as long as you can make good games eventually, I think it is worth it, because you can get at least some people to play your game and have people really just enjoy their time and with something that you created. And to me, that's just beyond insane to think that people are literally spending their relaxing time just like playing your games and just stuff like that. I think it's just so beyond cool. So I'm gonna say no, game development is not overrated. I think yes, the market is a little bit oversaturated, but I think if you make really good content, so if you make really good games or have a very unique idea, then I think you still have a very good chance of having success. Kanav, do you love us? I love most of you. Obviously, I'm kidding. No, honestly, like every single person in my Discord server, I love everybody in there. And sorry, not just my Discord server, my YouTube channel. I know a lot of people that I see comment on a lot of videos that aren't in my Discord server, and obviously there's no bad blood there because a lot of people just don't have Discord. I'm not in a lot of Discords of YouTubers that I watch all the time and help support them. So yeah, I love every single person, whether you're on my Discord, whether you're subscribed to my channel, whether you are just watching this video right now. Everybody is helping me. So no, I love everybody and I don't play favorites. So Zero, hey, how do you keep track of development? For myself, I have built kind of like a vague schedule for myself. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll do certain things. Thursday, Friday, I'll do certain things. I take 2 days off. So in my specific example, I have my Thursdays off and my Sundays off. I'll probably have my schedule on screen right now just for the people that are interested. It's not something that I stick to religiously, but it is something that I like to try to stick to, especially for, again, when I don't have the motivation. I can kind of look at it and say, okay, fine, I have to do this today, so I'll just get this done and I can move on with my life. And then the other thing that I do is I use Trello. So again, I'll probably have that up on screen right now, but I do use the app called Trello, and it helps me to organize everything and just kind of work with my projects easier. So Maddie asks, how would you feel if Google contacted you and they wanted your game on Stadia? Dude, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be happy. Why did you hide your sub count? Want to see the 1K. Yeah, so basically when I hit 1K, I think I disabled it at like 950 or something, but I disabled the subscriber count because I have a lot of people asking what's your current subscriber count, or, you know, things like that. And overall, I think that I would rather keep it to myself because I want people to really appreciate my content for what it is and not the number associated with my fan base. So maybe one day I'll open it back up. But as of right now, I have it closed, and I just want people to focus on what I'm making rather than how successful that's going for me. So yeah, I disabled it because I felt like it. So maybe I'll re-enable it someday, soon, maybe. Nova, this is a question that I definitely knew was gonna happen. I'm very surprised that it's so late in the Q&A, but Nova asks, why is the Discord server called the Midnight Club? The Discord server is called the Midnight Club because my first ever live stream, we had, I think about 8 to 10 people on it that were watching, and we had, I don't know, just tight click there, and we were all talking and getting along and things were good. And I decided to make a Discord server for those people, and I can't remember what specifically sparked it, but I just kind of thought of the idea that, you know, it's always midnight somewhere, it's always 12 o'clock somewhere, so it was just kind of a thing to like keep things open of, I'm just trying to respect everybody no matter where they are in the world. But yeah, it's not that deep. It's just, you know, I was just like,
oh, hey guys, you know, somewhere it's midnight. It's midnight for me right now, but in 2 hours it's going to be midnight for this person. So that's cool.
And then, yeah, and then I don't know, I kept it, and now it's the Midnight Club. So Doggonit, if that's how you say your name, are you joining the GMTK game jam? Yeah, I was not going to join it because I did it last year and my friggin' files got deleted, which I was really sad about. So I was gonna not join it because I have a lot going on. I just joined the Ludum Dare game jam, but I found out that it was in July, so more than likely I will be in the GMTK game jam. I'm not promising it because I don't know what my future is gonna hold or what's gonna happen. So at the time being of recording this video, yes, more than likely I will be, but I'm not making any for sure promises. Can you say with an incredibly deep voice,
Deep dish pizza.
Bethel, I surely can. Ether asks, what are some useful functions in Gamemaker that you use? I mean, I don't really use many functions or events or anything like that, like the alarm events and stuff. I don't really use those. I just stick to like the step event, the draw event, the create event, obviously. And then, you know, maybe certain ones like when the game ends, when the room starts. But yeah, I don't really use any of those weird ones. I don't, because you can technically code everything. It just makes it easier for people that want it kind of like as a hybrid between coding and drag and drop, but I don't really use them. How do you fix a hard to find / annoying bug? I play the game a bunch. That's all I really do. I play it a bunch and eventually I find it. But no, Gamemaker makes it easier because they tell you when you have a game breaking glitch or something, they will tell you in the crash event. It'll say what line and what object is causing an error. So I just follow that and eventually fix it. But for the things that aren't actually game breaking and it doesn't actually show me, I'll usually just kind of, I don't know, look over all the code. If it has something to do with the player, I'll look at every single thing that has to do with the player. So the player sprite, the particle effects on the player. It completely depends. It just, if it's something that is a part of the issue, I'll look at that for reference. And the last and final question comes again from JGM, and he asks, if you had the chance to work in a AAA studio, would you take that opportunity? I've actually been asked this question quite a few times in my real life of people that don't really understand what indie game development is. But I guess what I have to say on that is I'm going to say 90% no. I think that if a AAA title or game company came to me and asked me to be a part of the team, I would not turn it down. I would more than likely take the project on or, take the job or whatever, but I would not make that my focus. I think that if it's something that can financially support me, I will do that until eventually my indie studio kicks off and I can make as much as I'm making there. But no, I don't think I'd be satisfied just working on a big AAA title, because I really like the concept of like self-expression and just I enjoy the process of creating games. The music, the art, the game development, the coding, the game design, the storytelling, everything about game design is interesting to me. So I want to continue doing that. But no, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity. I would just make sure that I'm continuing with my own stuff and trying to develop it to kind of surpass my pay, I guess, at working wherever that AAA title thing is. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, guys. I'm so tired. Anyway, that is going to wrap up the Q&A. So thank you for everybody who submitted questions. I had a blast making this video, taking the submissions, reading the submissions, and just the Discord in general has just been so lively lately, and I'm so impressed with everybody. And I apparently just undid a button on my sweater, my bad. But yeah, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped that I can actually make these Q&A videos and answer people's questions that actually care. I never thought I would be able to do something like this. So the fact that I'm doing it in such a small amount of time on the platform is just beyond me. I was expecting to be working at this for like 3 years and maybe get to like maybe 1,000 subscribers in 3 years. But the fact that we got almost 800 subscribers in 2 months is just beyond me. It's insane. Thank you guys so much for enjoying my content and just watching everything that I'm making. I really, really do appreciate it. But anyway, I'm going to end the video there. I spent a lot of time making this video because I had to obviously do all the edits and cuts and keep things interesting while also answering the questions to the best of my ability. So again, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you're not subscribed, which you probably are because obviously it's a Q&A video, so I feel like you'd probably be subscribed already. But if you're not, make sure to subscribe because it would help me out a lot. And yeah, I have so much coming for this channel. This is just my absolute beginning start. I am not going anywhere, and I'm going to be uploading some heat onto this channel. Trust me, like, you guys have not seen anything. Stay tuned for next week because I have a project that I'm working on that I am so stoked about. It's unreal. I'm so hyped about it. So yeah, stay tuned for next week. But thank you guys for watching the Q&A. I had a blast, so I hope you guys did too. Until next time, have a great life.